Chapter 2. The Blowout. Nobody knew much about Juggs. Not where he came from. Not why he kept showing up like a busted-up, overweight wind chime made out of crockpots and bad decisions. But wherever Juggs was headed, that was all anybody needed to know. And right now, Juggs was standing under a bridge, pissing into the river and unloading his soul to Darla. "This town, sweet cheeks," he muttered. "Watching the steam drift off the concrete, it don't want me to succeed. They're holding me back." Darla, leather creaking, leaned one boot up against a pillar and cracked a cigarette with a flick of her nail. She was a biker queen without a nation, fake tits round enough to pick up free Wi-Fi, blonde hair that had outlived 3 marriages, and a tendency to change her age depending on how much attention she wanted. "You're too pure for 'em, Butterbean," she said, smoke slipping out the corner of her mouth. Juggs zipped up, kicked a rock into the water and grunted. "It's just either a blow or a tug. I just can't stand it anymore, Darla. I know it's dramatic, but hell, it's my life. I just want my time. My shot." And then, like a miracle, a flyer caught in the wind, slapped him across the leg. Sunday night blues jam, one night only, sign-up sheet. First come, first served. He grabbed it like it was a treasure map. Fast forward to Sunday night. The place was a dive, even by Austin standards. Broken pool cues, bathrooms that smelled like ammonia and failure. And in the back, arms crossed over a meat slab of a chest, stood T-Bone, a trained MMA killer who'd been banned for killing 2 men in a cage match. T-Bone hated music. He hated musicians even more. And he really hated Juggs, who from the second he walked in was bumping crockpots and coffee cans into everyone's beer. Juggs clanged his way through the crowd like a drunk mascot at a county fair, finally clanking up to the stage. "Hey man," Juggs called out, adjusting the strap holding his crockpot army together. "You'll mind if I sit in?" The bandleader, a guy with a mullet and a face like sour milk, gave him a hard stare. "This is an original song," the man grunted. "There's no way you'd know it." Juggs just grinned. "I play the fucking Juggs. I know it." They didn't know what to say to that. So they shrugged and plugged him in. Juggs started to blow, through delay pedals, through busted synths, through some secret pain in his chest that sounded like a dying tugboat mixed with God weeping into a coffee can. Nobody knew if it was good, nobody knew if it was bad, nobody knew what the hell it even was. But it was something. Even T-Bone, arms still crossed, watched, jaw set, like he was waiting for a reason to fight the air itself. And then it happened. Old T-Bone lumbered forward, stone-washed jeans creaking, and without a word, grabbed Juggs' favourite crockpot, the one his grandpappy had given him in a dream after ordering it from a Sears catalogue, and smashed it onto the floor. "Get the fuck off the stage with your Juggs," T-Bone barked. Juggs blinked once, twice, and then Wango and Fangs came out to play. First swing, wild right hook. T-Bone ducked. Juggs grabbed another jug, tried to club him. T-Bone shattered it against his knee like a man snapping a breadstick. The bar exploded. Darla was crying and dancing at the same time, lipstick smeared, one beer can wedged between each breast and a third one jammed through the rip in her back pocket. A guy in the back was frantically asking everyone if they'd seen his hat. Nobody cared. And then the horse police showed up. 15 horses. Inside the bar. Nobody knows why. Nobody questions it. They kicked over tables, shat on the jukebox, and tried to restore order. One cop pointed at Juggs, who was cradling the shattered remains of his jug like a dead puppy. "Son, are there drugs in there?" Juggs, sobbing, shook his head. "No, my jugs, not drugs! Juggs!" "I think he's saying drugs," another cop yelled. "No, Juggs!" Juggs screamed again, but the horses, realizing there were no drugs to bust, turned around and trotted out, probably to find a real crime somewhere else. It should have ended there. It didn't, because in, through the busted front doors, rolled a Komodo dragon. And on top of him stood a 4'4" boy with a guitar slung over his back and an attitude that could set concrete on fire. His Komodo's name was Charles Jeeves, a butler dragon by both name and training, calm as a monk on morphine. The boy jumped down, swaggered over, and stared at Juggs. "Hey, old man," he sneered. "I could out-jug you in my sleep." Juggs wiped his nose on his sleeve. "Fuck you, little bit." "You scared?" the boy asked, grinning. Juggs thought fast. He still had his emergency chloroform jug, his in-case-of-embarrassment plan. He held it out. "Blow an F-sharp into this, tiny dancer." The kid snatched the jug, huffed deep, and dropped like a sack of bricks. Dead. Heart just gave out right there. Charles Jeeves, perfectly trained, calmly nosed the kid's limp body out of the way and walked out the door without a single look back. And then, the owner, Tommy, stumbled forward. "You're getting great at wrecking my bar," Tommy grunted. "But that ain't selling me any more beer. Get the fuck out of here." Juggs, heartbroken, stumbled outside holding the broken jug to his chest. All night long, walking the streets, the same thing kept happening. Some drunk guy would shout, "Hey, you want some blow?" And Juggs would just sob harder. "I can't." He broke my jugs. The cocaine offers kept coming. Juggs kept breaking down. It was a full-blown emotional landslide. And that's when he ran into him. Michael Falcon, world-renowned visual topographer, worked at the country club east of town, had a golf cart, a satellite feed, and a mind like a goddamn bird. If anyone could help Juggs put his life back together, well, probably not. But Falcon sure as hell wasn't doing anything better.